Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have here another Visconti, and it's been a little bit of a while since I bought a new Visconti, I have to admit. It has been about 18 months and I have actually bought two. So I will show you one of these here on this video, and I'll show you another on another video. So as you can see, this is a Visconti. This is the new style box, and this is the HS or Homo Sapiens, and it's the Demostones in blue with a 14 karat gold medium nib. So I think let's go and unbox this pen. So we'll remove the sleeve, and you see this box here, which is actually quite a nice box from Visconti. And if I lift the lid, you will see the Demostones here. So this is a really nice pen, and I have to say that I have the red and I have the green, not in the Demostones version though. I have the Visconti Homo Sapiens Caput Mundi, and I have the Visconti Homo Sapiens Jade, which does have a jade gemstone. This has a blue gemstone on the pen. I have thought about, do I want to get the red and the green gemstone version? I think they're pretty much identical to the ones I already have, other than having a gemstone, and I could put a gemstone on the cap finial here. So for me, I think I decided that I would just go for the blue for the time being. And I have to say, I do like blue pens. So having a blue semi-opaque demonstrator does actually resonate with me. So you can see here, this is a demonstrator. So you can see it's a power vac. It does actually have the power vac here. It does have an ink window there as well. So you can see a little bit more of the ink when you're getting low. It has the standard Visconti bridge clip, which is springy. And as I've shown you already, it has the blue gemstone there. Now, these, I believe, are actually glued on, or certainly they were with the jade. I haven't actually tried it yet with this one. I know you can get gemstones to replace the Visconti finial. The reason why I say it's glued on is because I'm pretty sure that there is a magnetic one here on the power vac knob, which is something that Visconti have done a little bit differently lately. I'm not sure if I, to be honest, like having that on there as well as that. But from a branding perspective, I can see why they wanted their V logo still on the power vac knob. But for me, this is a beautiful blue, really, really nice blue. And I'll show you here the cap band there, which is a band on the body, not the cap. And it says Homo Sapiens, and it doesn't have a limited edition number on. Now, Visconti had used to engrave the number on the band there, but I have had a few recently where they have not. So I'm not sure if this is something that they've started to change, because obviously Visconti have been changing a lot over the last couple of years. So it's quite possible that there certainly isn't any limited edition number anywhere else on the pen that I can see. Now, in terms of the shape here, you can see that the cap tapers down and in towards the blue gemstone cap finial. It starts to taper out. You have the quite a signature Visconti Homo Sapiens style double band, which is in silver, and then the cap, it flares out slightly to what would be where the cap would end, or the cap band. There's a bit of a step down. You've got the body band there, and then the body starts to taper in slowly. You have another silver band here, and then you've got the power vac knob. Now, if I unscrew the cap, you'll see here, this does have the newer 14 karat gold nib from Visconti. This is an in-house nib. It's with an ABS plastic feed. I'm a little bit torn on this because the actual design there, I'm just not that enamored with. And it's not just me. A lot of Visconti collectors out there, or collectors that have Viscontis, have all said the same thing. They don't really like the pattern on that nib. And you can see it's a medium there. Will I swap that out? Maybe. I've got some spare 23 cat palladium nibs. I think I will see how well this writes, and if I like the 14 carat nib, then I may actually keep it in there. The section is a little bit of a concave section, and this is what I really do like about a lot of Viscontis, and more so the Visconti Homo Sapiens. It also has a hook safe lock mechanism as well. This is a really, really nice size in my hand. Can I post the cap? I can do. It does post quite securely. Again, though, it's not something that I typically would do, so I don't normally post caps. It is a power vac filler, so you unscrew the back here and you pull the rod out, and what you'll see here, I'll show you, when I pull it out, that O-ring moves up to the top and you put it in ink, and then you push that down. That click creates an air vacuum, and a whole load of ink will suck up into that body there. And there are a number of ways that you can actually get a full fill. Personally, I normally recommend either the Visconti Travelling Inkwell or the Penida pen filler. I have really gravitated more towards the Penida pen filler. Both were designed by Dante Del Vecchio, but I find the Penida pen filler is a little bit more of a newer version, holds more ink, just works very well. The other thing you can do is if you put it in ink and you plunge that down, what you can do is, and I have a video, I can't remember which video it was on though, but you can then just leave all of the ink in here. You can push this up slowly until you start to see bubbling coming out of that feed. And then when you see that, you hold that there, you put it in your ink, and then you plunge once more. And then that is another way that you will get a full body of ink into that pen. Because there's always going to be a bit of an airlock there that you're displacing air with ink. So there is always going to be a case where typically you don't get all of the air out of the body when you're filling it. And I think that's really where the Visconti Travelling Inkwell or the Penida pen filler come into play, because they really, really do help. So I think with that, we'll do a size check, we'll do a weight check, we'll do a pen comparison, and then we'll do a writing sample. So the full length of the pen, including the gemstone, we're looking at about 148 millimeters in length. The length of the cap, we're looking about 63 millimeters in length. And then the length of the body to the tip of the nib or tip of the tines, we're looking about 130 millimeters. So I typically normally say a oversized pen is around about 128 millimeters in length. You can see that in the size of my hand there. That is quite a nice length if I'm holding it on the concave area of the section. If I wanted to hold it up a little bit higher, I can do still. I typically don't. I typically hold it around here. So it's actually a very good length. So I think let's do a weight check. So the full weight of the pen, and this is uninked, we're looking at just under 39.5 grams. The weight of the cap, we're looking at just under 16.5 grams. And then the weight of the body, I'm going to have to try and stop this rolling, I think. It's just under 20, or just over 23 grams in weight. So the weight of the pen is quite nice. It will hold around about 2.5 milliliters of ink. So it add another 2.5 grams to that weight, and then that will be a full weight pen. So I think with that, let's go and do a comparison with other pens. So from left to right, we have a Visconti Homo Sapiens London Fog, a Visconti Homo Sapiens Florentine Hills, a Visconti Homo Sapiens Chianti Shire. We have a Visconti Homo Sapiens Bronze Swirl, a Visconti Homo Sapiens Midnight in Florence, a Visconti Homo Sapiens Demostones in the blue. We have a Visconti Homo Sapiens Caput Mundi, a Visconti Homo Sapiens Jade, a Visconti Homo Sapiens Blue Lagoon, and a Visconti Chatterley Luxuries, and this is the Southwest. So I'm going to ink this up on camera. I don't always do this, but I decided I will do this in this case. Now, I'm going to choose Visconti ink for this, and it's going to be Visconti Turquoise. This is the older plastic bottles, which I know a lot of people complain about because they're easy to tip over, especially when filling. But I will show you, if you have one of these, the best thing you can do, put it inside the cap because it cannot move around. Unscrew the cap of the bottle there, and then you can fill the pen up. So we'll unscrew the power vac knob, we'll pull it out, and what I will do is I'll just get some kitchen towel handy just so I can wipe this off. And trying to do this on camera is a little bit tricky, but we'll see there. Now, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this on camera, but the ink is only filled up to about here. So I'm going to show you that same technique that I showed you, and this is going to be a bit hard to show you, but I'm going to basically tilt the nib up, and I'm going to gradually push on that vacuum until I see some bubbles there, a few more bubbles maybe, and then I will put that back in the ink. And now, if I just wipe this pen off, you will see it is a full fill. So I think with that, let's do the writing sample. So this is the Visconti Homo Sapiens, and it's the Demostones, and it's the blue. It's a medium, and it's a 14 karat gold in-house nib from Visconti. Now the ink in here today is Visconti Turquoise, which is a very nice light blue ink. Now, if we do a standard line variation test, I would say it is definitely coming out to be around a Western medium grade of nib. Now, it's a 14 karat gold nib. Can I push this a bit more? I can. It probably is giving you more of a broad line. And you can see there with those figure of eights that you can get a little bit more line variation out of it. You're also not seeing any hard starts or skips, which to me signals that this is a very well tuned nib. In terms of ink wetness, let's take a look at that. So it's quite a wet nib. It's not a fire hose nib. This is an A4 page of Oxford optic paper, and typically I would say around the midpoint of the A4 page would actually be what I would consider to be a fire hose of a nib. So what do I like, what do I not like about this pen? Well, it's a Visconti. I now have 71 Viscontis, so I clearly do like Viscontis. I had stuck on 69 Viscontis for about 18 months, and none of the new Viscontis were really interesting me. I am a sucker for the Homo Sapiens model, and I am a sucker for these semi-opaque demonstrators, as well as pens like the Visconti Homo Sapiens London Fog, with the celluloid ribbons in. So I do like these pens, and I have to say I am liking this a lot, and I am glad that I did pick this up. What do I dislike about the pen? Well, there isn't really much that I dislike about the pen. The only thing that I would say, and you do get this on some of the demonstrators, the semi-opaque demonstrators, is that you can get ink pooling between the nib unit and the section, and because it's not a fully opaque section, you might be able to see some ink pooling there. I'd say that's the only downside in this kind of model. If you do have a little bit of OCD and that does bother you, then this might not be a model that you would want to pick up. I think in the early days, I had this more so on my Visconti Homo Sapiens Florentine Hills. It did bother me quite a bit, but over time I suddenly got used to it and it doesn't bother me anymore. You can clean that out. Normally, if you unscrew that nib unit, you can flush that out, dry it, and then screw the nib unit back in, and then it will be perfectly fine. But then when you're going to fill up ink again, you will see some, because it is a semi-opaque color there, that you are going to see some. I would say that's probably the only downside I would say in this pen. It's got a power vac filler. It holds 2.5 milliliters of ink. It's got the Visconti hook safe lock mechanism. I like everything about this. I guess one other thing that I know some people have disliked is the gemstone or the demo stone, and that a lot of people don't like having that on the pen. I think initially when I bought my Visconti Homo Sapiens Jade, when that had one, I did dislike that, but it's something I've grown used to. It doesn't bother me now, but I know it has bothered a few people. I know one person that literally sent off their Homo Sapiens Jade, because these were glued in place, to Visconti to say, could you please remove that and put a magnet in place? And then they got it back, and then they sold the pen. So I know it does bother some people. It doesn't bother me now. Outside of that, there's really nothing I dislike about this. This pen writes really well. You are seeing some feathering here. It is Oxford Optic paper. It's not Temuray River paper. And typically some of the lighter blue inks, like the Visconti Turquoise, will feather on certain paper. You will also see that it's quite a wet writing nib. It's not a fire hose nib, but it is a wet writing nib. So that will also cause a little bit of feathering there. This is, I think, 80 grams, 80 GSM Oxford Optic paper. It's normally pretty good paper, but sometimes you can see a little bit of feathering or spread going on there with certain inks and certain wetnesses. So that's my review of the Visconti Homo Sapiens, and this is the Demostones in blue. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye-bye.